Working on my 2009 Chevy Cobalt, and today I'm going to be installing a ZZP oversized aluminum radiator. And this is going to replace the standard OEM radiator. It's not leaking, I don't have any problems with it, but I just want to install an upgraded radiator for the summertime. First thing I'm going to do is pull it up on the ramps. The current mileage is 369,476 miles. To replace the radiator, you have to disconnect the AC condenser from the radiator itself, and then remove these plates that hold the radiator in from the bottom, and then it just slips out from the bottom. You don't need to remove the front bumper to do this. I'm going to remove it just to make it easier to film and so you can get a better view of what I'm doing. Let me unbox this radiator real quick. ZZP always makes quality parts, and this is meant to fit right in the factory spot. Oh, that is beautiful. This only fits the manual transmission, so they do not have one for the automatic. So I'm going to pull off the front bumper cover just to make it easier to film so you can get a better look at what's going on. You remove the clips from the front, remove the headlights, and then there's remove the headlight housing brackets and the bolts on the side, and it comes right out. Alright, first thing I'm going to do to remove the bumper cover is remove the headlight and the headlight housing, and take some 10mm bolts. Alright, push the headlight assembly inward, and then pull up. Disconnect the wiring harness for the headlight by pulling this little clip. I'm going to remove the headlight bracket. This takes 3 10mm. Watch out for your temperature sensor in the back. You have to unplug that as well. Or you can just pull it out of the housing and leave the temperature sensor connected. It's up to you. All right, remove the plastic clips. remove the headlight assembly on the passenger side. Pull the headlight out and towards the inner part of the bumper cover. Then disconnect the wiring harness. Remove the 3 7mm bolts. Alright, now to do the other side. Now to remove the clips from the bottom that hold the bumper cover to the impact bar, but mine are not hooked up, so I don't have to remove that. Loosen the 2 10mm bolts and then remove the one way in the back, and sometimes it's easier to get to that through the wheel liner. There we go. Now all I have to do is disconnect the wiring harness for the fog lights. I'm just going to remove the bulbs. There we go, and then you pull up on the bumper cover, and it just pops right out. Same thing on the other side. All right, removing the front bumper cover was just to give you a better view of what I'm doing. But here's the OEM radiator, and here's the clips that the AC condenser slips into, and then there's a bolt right there and a bolt right there, and those are the pins. You remove this from the bottom. You can remove it from the top if you have the bumper cover off, but if you don't have the bumper cover off, it's better to drop it from the bottom. Alright, here's a good comparison of the ZZP oversized aluminum radiator. Now this one's only for manual transmissions. High quality part, really nice welds, really a nice piece. This OEM one has worked for 369,000 miles, so I have nothing to complain about. This is the original radiator. I was in a front end accident years ago, and it kind of bent only the front part of the frame rail, but everything is structurally good. So I'm going to slap in the new radiator. Typically you'd remove it from the bottom. You remove the bottom plates. You remove the bottom plates and it just slips out the bottom, and then you have to take off the fan as well. You can remove from the top, but only if you remove the bumper cover. But it's designed to come out the bottom. So let me drain the radiator. Make sure your vehicle is not hot when you drain the radiator fluid. Okay, to drain the coolant out, you're going to open the petcock right there, right down there, and then it's going to drain into a bucket. This part right here is the part you want to open up. It's going to drain out of this bottom hole. you remove the cap for your overflow tank to get it going a little bit faster. All right, now I'm going to disconnect the AC condenser by removing the 10mm bolts. Alright, now the AC condenser is unhooked. Next I'm going to remove the top brackets for the radiator support. Is disconnected. Now I'm going to remove the passenger side upper radiator hose. Pull that up and out of the way up here. Just get it out of the way. Next I'm going to move the driver's side radiator hose. Up and out of the way. So next thing I'm going to remove is the radiator fan. To remove the radiator fan, you push down on this clip. To remove the radiator fan, you push down on this clip right here. And it just pulls up. now I'm going to remove the plates on the bottom that you remove if you don't remove the bumper cover. And like I said, the only reason why I remove the bumper cover is just for the demonstration purposes. Remove the radiator from the bottom. You're going to remove the three 13mm bolts on this side, on the driver's side, and three 13mm bolts on the passenger side. Alright, now to do it on the passenger side. And then normally these would just slip out and the whole unit would come down. Alright, now that I have the original radiator out, I'm going to do a little comparison. So the original radiator has plastic on the end caps and the housing is plastic, and the only part that's aluminum is the middle part. And you can see all the wasted space here where there's no cooling going through. So these are notorious from leaking from the side. Some of that white stuff is probably some antifreeze, but this thing has lasted quite some time. And then here's the nice ZZP aluminum one, and you can see it's thick all the way through, beautifully welded aluminum. Really a nice little upgrade. So I'm gonna have to take off the clips for this and put them over there for the AC condenser, and then put everything back in. Alright, I'm going to put on the fan. There we go. And here's where the electrical connection goes in. I'm going to slip it up from the bottom and hook up the bottom plates. Tighten up these. Alright, now to hook up the electrical connection for the cooling fan. Alright, there we go. slightly too thin right here, so I'm going to use a screwdriver and gently pry that open. Do that on both sides. Reinstall the two 10mm bolts that hold on the AC condenser. Now to hook up the driver's side radiator hose, remove the protective cap. There we go. Now to do the driver's side. There we go. Hook up the two upper radiator supports. reinstall the bumper cover. Alright, because I put in a oversized radiator, I'm going to get some antifreeze. I'm going to get the Prestone Dex Cool for GM vehicles. So it's going to take a little bit more than original. I am going to get a ZZP overflow tank as well at some point because that's all aluminum. It's really nice. So let me run to AutoZone real quick, get some more antifreeze, and then button this thing up. Alright, pulling up to the AutoZone to get the antifreeze. Prestone GM vehicles, Dex Cool GM approved. $17.99 per gallon, so I'm gonna grab a couple of those. Right. 2 gallons of Dex Cool. Well, Prestone Dex Cool equivalent. Now I'll head back to the house and finishing the install. Just got back from AutoZone. Now I'm going to pour the Prestone Dex Cool substitute into the overflow tank, bleed the system, and then it should be ready to go. I always like getting the pre-mixed stuff. It just saves all the hassle of mixing it yourself. Give the car a quick start. Now I'm gonna let it run for a little while, let the thermostat open up so it rotates it through, and then add a little more coolant as it needs it. Alright, bled the cooling system, and I'll throw a little extra coolant in my car just so I can check it in a day or so on my next drive. And here's a look at the original. Here's a look at the original radiator that lasted 369,000 miles. It is literally half the size of the ZZP one that I installed. And the plastic end caps are notorious for breaking, even though this one didn't, and it lasted quite a while. I am going to get a ZZP coolant overflow tank. It is really a nice looking part, so I'm definitely going to get that in the near future. And that is installing a ZZP oversized aluminum radiator in a Chevy Cobalt. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.